Welcome back to the Gno Playground. So in this video, I want to talk about a gotcha. This is something you'll want to be aware of when you start developing in the playground and you're not using local development. You're still using the testnet. And so what's going to happen is if you recall going back through, this is exactly what we're going to show in this video. This is the path that we actually deployed our realm to in the previous video. So let's say we made a change, and I don't know what we do here. Let's just say we'll add the unique link. So here's our unique link, and say we made this change and now we want to deploy it, and we're like, hey, we just made this fix and we just want to replace the old. So if you go back here, and if we remember the same namespace that we used in the last video, the deployment, and this is of course the realm name, when we try to deploy this, it's going to fail because the realm already exists, which is the error we saw at the beginning of this video. So this massive stack trace basically just says, hey, this already exists. And so you can't just update a realm like that. Well, so what do? How do you do iterative contract development with a testnet and the state never gets reset? Of course, if we were resetting the testnet all the time, resetting the state, a lot of other people would be disrupted because maybe they're making transactions to realms and they don't want the state to be reset. So this is actually a big deal. So when you have to redeploy it, let's say we'll now choose the namespace of demo3, and we'll type in greeting, which is the name of our realm, and we'll deploy that, which will prompt the Adena wallet to come up, and we'll approve and sign the transaction. And this will go through no problem because nobody else has taken that namespace, or especially that namespace combination of demo3 plus the greeting realm name. But if they had, once again, if we tried to do this, say you were a different user in a different country and you happen to be trying to deploy the same namespace and realm name, of course, this is going to fail. And so that is definitely something to be aware of when you start iterative contract development or realm development using the playground, which is why local development is always easier for iterative contract or realm development. And my recommendation is once you get your realm to a really good state and you feel very comfortable about it, then you move it to the playground. Or rather, you can still use the playground for iterative development, but then that's when you use the actual testnet. Everything else should be done locally. And so this is saying, hey, you want to switch to a local development network, and you say yes. Everything should be done locally. You can rapidly iterate locally and not disrupt anybody else. And then you can think of a testnet, since we're not on mainnet yet, think of the testnet is the big show. I mean, that's the real dance, where you don't want to mess around. And so when you make that final deployment, there's only ever one reserved namespace called demo. And within that namespace, there's only ever one reserved realm name greeting. So don't make the mistake, iterate locally, and then once you're absolutely certain, then move to the testnet.